joined by international correspondent for The Independent, Borzou Daragahi. Borzou, good to have you here on the show. I would say that some would argue that it's surprising that the Prime Minister lasted this long.
Yeah, I mean, given the extent, not just of the protest against him, but what many consider the heavy-handed response by the security forces, hundreds of people killed in a couple months of protests, unnecessarily and gratuitously in the eyes of many who are watching. And if you look just in the last couple days, there's been numerous resignations by top Iraqi officials at the provincial level, and more likely than not, there was resignations coming at the national level as well. This is what forced Adel Abdel Mahdi to submit his resignation.
Okay, for months now, we've been seeing that and hearing Iraqis demanding more jobs and end to corruption across the country, as well as better public services. The question is Abdel Mahdi's resignation and other resignations that you just mentioned at the national level, at the local level, is that likely to produce any progress on these fronts?
I mean, Iraq's balance sheet, its books are a mess. The corruption throughout the ministries is just so deep. It's rather unclear whether the removal of the prime minister is going to make much of a difference. We'll see. What the protesters are saying is not clear, and who they want in power instead of Adel Abdel Mahdi is not clear. And that's, I think, part of the problem. They are very amorphous. They're not really having a specific group of people representing them. They just want change. They want change now. These sorts of movements, as we've seen over the last decade or so in the Middle East, especially in a war-torn country like Iraq, they do not bode well.
Okay. And I also want to ask you, what role do you think influential clerics like Ayatollah al-Sistani or Muqtada al-Sadr, they're going to be playing moving forward?
I mean, I think that you have two different categories there. Sistani, through a representative, issued some statements that were firm in urging the cabinet to withdraw its support from urging parliamentarians rather to withdraw their support for the cabinet. That was really the final, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, with regard to Adel Abdel Mahdi. And then Muqtada Sadr, a mid-ranking cleric, but a top-notch political operative. He's just riding the wave. And when it was unclear what this protest was about, he had one line. And now that it is somewhat more clear that the protests are significant, he's taken up the line that he's with the protest.
All right, Borzou, good to have you on the NewsHour. I do appreciate your analysis. Thank you very much.